The Pixel 10 Pro XL has been out for just over 2 weeks. I've been keeping track of all the different phone cases released for this phone, and at this point, I feel pretty comfortable sharing my choices for the best Pixel 10 Pro XL case, split into categories like thin, leather, protective, etc. First up is my choice for the best silicone case, which goes to Google's PixelSnap case. This case is available in 4 colors to perfectly match your Google Pixel and feels very high quality. Taking a look inside the case, you can see that it's lined with microfiber to help keep the back of your phone free from scratches. You'll also see that it is MagSafe, PixelSnap compatible. Let's get the phone in the case. So here's a look at the PixelSnap case in the color Moonstone, which matches the Moonstone Pixel 10 Pro XL that I have. And then here's a look from the front for those of you who want to see what that looks like. This case feels really premium, and I'd be curious to see how the silicone would wear in over time. But as it stands now, it feels really good. Taking a look at the right side is where you'll see the aluminum buttons for the phone that are all very clicky and responsive. Taking a look at the bottom, you can see that you have nice, decent cutouts for your speaker, your microphone, and your charging port. And then taking a quick look at the top, you can see the cutout for the top microphone. Here's a look at the lip of the case, which offers your display decent protection even when you have a screen protector installed. This helps to keep the display of your phone free from scratches if you're placing your phone face down on a surface like a table. And then here's a look at what the case offers as far as camera protection. It's there, but it's not super thick. It's definitely keeping the glass off of surfaces and offering you nice minimal protection for your cameras. Like I'd mentioned earlier, this case is PixelSnap compatible and has some decently strong magnets on it. And so you know, all the cases I'm going to show you in this video have decent magnetic strength and are going to work perfectly with accessories like car mounts and wireless charging stands. This case is available in 4 different colors, each of which are going to perfectly match your Pixel 10 Pro XL. One of my favorite phone case materials is leather. I love the way it wears in over time, how classy it looks, how it feels in the hand, and most of all, how it smells. The best leather case for the Pixel 10 Pro XL is a case that's been one of the best leather cases for the Pixel series in general over all these years, and that's the leather case from Bellroy. Looking at the inside of the case, you can see that it's lined with microfiber, which is going to help keep the back of your phone free from scratches. You can tell by looking at the circle inside the case that it is PixelSnap compatible. Now let's get the phone in this amazing smelling leather case. Here's a look at the Bellroy black leather case with the Pixel 10 Pro XL in Moonstone installed in it. Here's what the case looks like from the front. In the hand, this case feels really good, and over time, the leather will wear in to make it a little extra grippier than it is today. Looking at the top of the case, you can see the cutout for your top microphone. At the bottom, you have generous cutouts for your speaker, microphone, and charging port. Looking at the side, this case has anodized aluminum buttons, which are all very clicky and very responsive. Looking at the case from the front, you can see that it offers decent lip protection to keep your display from rubbing against surfaces when you place your phone face down. And then looking at the back, I would say this case offers very similar protection to the silicone case that we just looked at from Google. This case comes in 4 different colors: black, sienna, ruby red, and simply taupe. I'm pretty sure that these are the same colors Bellroy offered last year for the Pixel 9 series. Testing out the strength of the PixelSnap magnetic connection, it's pretty similar to the silicone case, maybe a little weaker, but that could really just come down to the material of the leather being a little slicker than the material of a silicone case. A new addition to the Pixel 10 series this year is PixelSnap, though most people, myself included, will probably still call it MagSafe. There is one brand that's really perfected magnets in a phone case and has been doing this since before Apple introduced MagSafe. That brand is the video sponsor MagBack, with my choice for the best PixelSnap case, the MagBack Elite. Looking at the inside of the case, very similar to the 2 we've just looked at, this is lined with microfiber, which is going to help keep your phone free from scratches. In each corner are these air pockets, which help to give your phone up to 12 feet of drop protection when dropped on the corners. Here's a look at the MagBack Elite on the Pixel 10 Pro XL from the back. And then here's what the case looks like from the front. Looking at the top of the case is a cutout for the top microphone. Looking at the bottom are cutouts for your microphone, speaker, and your charging port, which is covered by what MagBack calls the pinky pillow. Now, given that this phone is a bit on the bigger side, having this cushion down here actually does a really good job at giving your pinky some relief holding up your phone. On the bottom of each corner are mounting points if you want to connect a lanyard. On the side of the case are these floating buttons, which are clicky and responsive, and are one of several parts that can actually be changed out for different colors. On the bottom right, as well as the bottom left, you'll also see these side grips, which are another part that can be changed out and customized. On the back is one of the final pieces that you can customize, and that's the finger loop, which you can pull it when you need to use it and push it back in when you're done with it. What's nice is that when it's not being used, it does lay flat, so you can still use MagSafe accessories like wireless chargers. Now, I mentioned that there's customizable parts. At the time of making this video, there are 4 different color sets available for this phone. By default, the interchangeable parts on this case come in black, but they're also available in red, blue, and light gray. Now when it comes to magnetic strength, this is stronger than all the other cases in the video. It takes extra effort to get this MagSafe accessory off. This is great and useful for different situations, like attaching your phone to gym equipment, your fridge while planning out a grocery list, or a metal surface if you're wanting to take a picture of yourself and you don't have a tripod available. Looking at the front of the case, it does have more of a screen lip than the other cases we've looked at. And then looking at the back, a decent ring offered for camera protection. This case also has a kickstand tucked into the bottom, so that you can stand your phone up in either portrait or a landscape for media viewing or video calls. Now, if your main concern is keeping your phone safe from all kinds of intense drops, then there really is only one company that stands out to me that offers good protection and also stands by it by doing pretty extreme drop protection tests, like dropping a phone out of a hot air balloon. That brand is Mouse, with my pick for the best protective case, the Mouse Limitless. Looking inside the case, there is no microfiber lining. There is shock absorbing material around the camera ring, a little bit at the bottom here, and then this green material on the inside of the case, which is AeroShock. AeroShock is a special material made by Mouse that helps to absorb and slow impact from extreme drops. Now here's a look at the Mouse Limitless case in leather with the Pixel 10 Pro XL installed. And then flipping it over, here's a look at the case from the front. On each side of the case is this grip pattern, which helps give you good confidence holding onto your phone. Just below that are mounting points for lanyards on each side of the phone. Buttons on the case are floating, super responsive, and clicky. Looking at the bottom of the case are precise cutouts for your microphone and speaker, and a generous cutout for your charging port. At the top, you have a cutout for your top microphone. The lip protection on a Mouse Limitless case is pretty unique. Like you can see, it's shallow in the middle, and then stands up taller on the top and the bottom of the case. This does a good job at keeping your phone screen off of surfaces and giving you good access to swipe around on your phone screen. And then here's a look at the camera ring on the back, which is keeping your camera glass from rubbing against surfaces. Now in previous years, I found that mouse cases don't always have the strongest magnets, but from testing, this year they've definitely improved the MagSafe PixelSnap strength. The Limitless comes in a lot of different colors, so honestly, it's probably easiest for you to just go to the Mouse website and take a look for yourself, after you watch this video of course. When you're using a phone the size of the Pro XL, it is nice to keep it on the slim side and not let things get too bulky. So in the category for the best thin case, my choice is the Banks Armor Air. The Banks Armor Air for the Pixel 10 series comes in the pattern Aurora, which is inspired by the Northern Lights, otherwise known as the Aurora Borealis. Looking at the inside of the case, you'll see the PixelSnap magnet array, as well as a stamp down here, letting you know that this case is made with Kevlar from DuPont. With a thickness of 1mm, this case is really slim. It's also super light at 21.8 grams. Now let's put the phone in the case. Here's a look at the Armor Air installed on the Pixel 10 Pro XL. I especially really like how this case looks on the moonstone color of the Pixel 10. The camera bar for me just seems to match perfectly. Here's a look at the case from the front, where you can see that it's not adding much bulk at all. This case has a really good feel in your hand. The weave of the material on this case has a little bit of a subtle texture to it, which just helps give you a subtle bit of grip when you're holding onto your phone. Now as far as your phone buttons, this case exposes them. So what you're clicking is just the actual phone buttons themselves. Up at the top, you have a cutout for your top microphone, as well as cutouts for your microphone and speaker, and a generous cutout for your charging port. Something unique about this case, and one of the reasons I chose this as my top thin case, is that it has these slightly raised corner edges, which just helps give your phone screen a little bit of clearance, even with a screen protector installed. And then looking at the back, this aluminum camera ring is offering decent protection, keeping the glass of your camera lenses from rubbing against surfaces. Now, one of the other reasons that I chose this case in the thin case category is that it has superior PixelSnap MagSafe strength compared to the other options that I looked at. Now finally, a category that I'm sure a lot of you will appreciate, especially if you want to be more budget conscious, and that's the best overall value case. In this category, I'm going to show you two cases, both of which I've used on a lot of different phones over the past years. First up is the Spigen Liquid Air. The inside of this case is pretty simple and minimal. Like pretty much all Spigen cases, it does have air pockets in each corner to help with drop protection. Now here's a look at the phone on the case. This does come in a few other colors, which I believe are black and a dark green. Here's a look at the case from the front, for those of you who are interested in seeing that. On each side of the case, you'll see this subtle pattern, which helps with grip when you're holding onto your phone. The buttons on this case are semi-attached, and are clicky and responsive. I do really appreciate the subtle texture on the power button to let you know which button your finger is hovering over. At the bottom, you do have a lanyard mount, though only on the right side of the phone. Up at the top, you have a cutout for your top microphone, and at the bottom, generous cutouts for your microphone, speaker, and charging port. I have a screen protector installed, so you can see that the lip on this case is very generous and good at keeping your phone from rubbing against surfaces if you're placing it face down. And then looking at the back, you can see there's a decent camera ring, helping to ensure the glass of your camera lenses is not rubbing against a surface. Like most Spigen cases over the last few years, the magnetic strength of this case is really good. And now finally, my true top pick for the value case is the Onyx from Ringkey. With this case, I would say, if you know, you know. When you have this case on your phone, it just feels so good. Inside the case is very simple and minimal. Air pockets in the corners to help with drop protection, and PixelSnap compatibility. Now here's a look at the Ringkey Onyx from the back. One thing I really like about this case is how it offers extra protection for your camera module. Here's that look at the case from the front for those of you interested. Up at the top, a cutout for your top microphone. At the bottom, precise and generous cutouts for your speaker, charging port, and microphone. And then a look at the sides, which is probably my favorite part of this phone case. Getting in nice and close, you can see that there's a very subtle kind of dot texture here, which helps give you really good grip when you're holding onto your phone. This pattern is also on the right side. And when you look at this case from above, you can see how it really tucks in tight on the sides and sticks out a little bit more at the top and the bottom. I personally really like the grip on this phone. It's really subtle, and it gives me good confidence holding onto my phone, even with kind of clammy hands. The buttons on this case are semi-attached, are clicky and responsive. At the bottom of each side are mounting points for a lanyard if you'd like to attach that. Taking a look at the front, you can see that the lip protection for your screen is kind of like the mouse case, where it sticks up at the top and the bottom, and offers you a nice open space in the center for swiping around on your phone. Taking a look at the back, this case definitely offers the best protection for your cameras out of all the cases we've looked at in the video. And then as far as the PixelSnap strength of the magnets, this case does a really good job there as well. Something to keep in mind is that if you are ordering this case, it does have two different variants, one with magnets and one without it. So those are my choices for the best case for the Google Pixel 10 Pro XL. If you'd like to pick up any of the cases you saw in the video, I'll leave links in the description along with any discount codes that I can find to help save you money. Using these links doesn't cost you anything extra and goes a long way to support a creator like myself, so I can make more videos like this for all of you. Thanks for hanging out with me. Consider subscribing, and I'll see you again.